All right, so we're starting Unit 14, and Unit 14 is scientific notation and percent. So scientific notation, we'll be talking about that today and tomorrow, and then percent has a lot in it, so our Unit 14 is going to take us up through the next 2 weeks. So on your Cornell notes, please set up at the top your topic, scientific notation. Today's May 1st. Thank you. And today, you will be able to express numbers in scientific notation. Tyshawn, your seat is up. And I will put 4 minutes on the clock for you to finish writing those 3 things down. And tell me what each of those is in standard form. And I hope I can give everyone a point for the topic is scientific notation. Up at the top. So can you just quickly explain how you answered it?
10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 equals.
What is that?
100,000.
100,000. Before we just go on to number 3, does anybody see any patterns in how we write this as an exponent and then how we write it as a standard form? Add how many zeros?
The number that's
The number that the what is?
I'm about to say it. Can I say it?
What is this called?
3. If it's 3 zeros, you put 3 zeros.
The exponent, right. So, can someone say that one more time because this is going to come up later. What was the pattern that you saw in writing these numbers from the exponent? Raise your hand now. Kevin.
The number of how much zeros is the exponent? How many zeros?
Hold on, I Tyshawn talking.
I was asking Isaiah, it's his name.
One more time.
How many zeros that you get in the answer is how many, it is the exponent.
Yes, so Kevin's saying 10 to the 3rd power has how many zeros in it when I write it out?
3x. If the exponent is 3, then it'll have 3 zeros.
There we go. When you're attempting to put these in order, because they're not in order right now, it's just a chart, what challenges would you run into based on how that information is presented? And secondly, what changes would you make to those numbers to maybe make that comparison easier to do? And I just want you to write it down in your notes, yes. What questions do you have on the directions? Javon. You will have 5 minutes to come up with an answer for each of those. Is there anything in how that's presented that makes this difficult to put in order? And then what changes would you make to that to make it easier to do? This goes in your notebooks. Yep, on your Cornell notes. So the answers to these 2 questions. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes. I need everyone back up here, please. I'll give you 3. Eyes up here, mouths closed in 2. And ready to discuss this in 1. Now, all eyes up here, please. I heard a lot of different things as I was walking around, but then most of you ended up at the same conclusion. What was it in how those numbers were presented to you that made putting them in order a challenge? Anaya. There were a lot of zeros. We're talking about numbers that are over 1 billion, and then the rest of them are in the 100 millions. So what was challenging was that there were a lot of zeros. That made it really tough to do a quick comparison. So something along the lines of what Anaya just said should be in your notes. The zeros made it difficult.
Why you shopping?
To quickly compare the numbers. So then that second part, which went along with this challenge, is how can I make it easier, Kayla?
Turn it into an exponent.
And so you want to do what? Because if you turn it into exponents like you're suggesting, what would happen to those numbers?
It'd be the same as when it was. It would be the same as when it wasn't.
How are you eliminating the challenge? You're doing what? Yes. So the changes we want to make are to get rid of the zeros, right? Get rid of the zeros. So if you haven't answered both of these questions, I'll give you about 30 seconds to finish getting an answer down. So follow those steps. The first thing I want you to do is put that number, 9,880,000,000, into your calculator and tell me what happened. Then I want you to multiply it by 2 and tell me what happened.
I wonder how I do it.
So then I want you to put those two numbers into your calculator and tell me what happened. If there are any where nothing changed, you can write nothing changed. But what I want you to do is describe, either in words and definitely in numbers, what happened each time. And I will give you 5 minutes to write down zeros, 4, 5, 6, 2.
That's
Did that timer go off? All right, and now I need us all back up here, please. I'll give you 3. Eyes up here, mouths closed in 2. And ready to discuss this in 1. Kivion and Zaria. All right, in number 1, when you put that number, 9,880,000,000, into your calculator and press enter, what happened? Someone other than the people who have already answered. Evelyn.
Nothing happened. It put the same thing as what I put.
Did everyone notice that, or did anyone see anything change in number 1? When you pressed enter, did anything change, or did it spit the same number back?
it changed.